I thought I knew the woman I was going to marry. But one video changed everything I believed about her. I watched my fiancée, the same woman who said she didn't believe in strip clubs, on her knees in front of a fake cop at her bachelorette party. And no, it wasn't just dancing. What happened next wasn't rage. It wasn't screaming. It was precision. I let her father watch the footage before the wedding rehearsal. By the time she arrived in white, there was no one left waiting for her. There are moments in life when your brain refuses to believe what your eyes are showing you. It doesn't rush to anger or heartbreak. It just stops. Like it's buffering, trying to process something so out of character, so absurd, that reality itself stutters. That's exactly what happened to me the morning after Emily's bachelorette party. We had been together for 4 years, engaged for 6 months. Our wedding was 3 weeks away. I had already picked up the suits, triple confirmed the venue, and transferred half the payment to the caterer. My friends called me the stable one, the guy who lucked out with the chill fiancé, who wasn't into drama or wild parties. Emily always said things like, "We're not like other couples. We actually respect each other." I bought into it. Completely. Her bachelorette party was supposed to be a wine night at Rachel's place, her best friend since high school. Just a few close girlfriends, board games, charcuterie boards, maybe a few silly stories from college. That's what she told me. She even laughed when I asked if they were hiring a stripper. "I think male strippers are tacky," she said. "Besides, I'm already taken." So when she kissed me goodbye at 4 p.m., wearing her soft gray hoodie and leggings, blowing me a kiss and saying, "Don't wait up," I didn't. I trusted her. The next morning, I woke up to a video. No caption, no explanation, just a random number and a file titled, "You should see this before the wedding." The video wasn't long, barely 20 seconds, but it hit like a truck. A room full of screaming women, loud music, balloons, a shirtless man in aviators and fake handcuffs, and Emily, my fiancée, front and center, on her knees, laughing, grabbing him by the belt. It cut off just before anything explicit, but it didn't have to go further. Her body language said enough. The cheering in the background said enough. Her smile, wide and completely unbothered, said everything. I sat there, holding my phone, completely still. There was no apology message, no follow-up, nothing, just that single video. I didn't know who sent it, but someone at that party wanted me to know, and now I did. You'd expect me to confront her, maybe call off the wedding in a fit of rage, maybe scream, cry, break things. But that's not what happened. Instead, my brain went cold. Not numb, cold. Precise. I thought about the way she laughed when I asked if they'd have a stripper. I thought about the little girl's only rule she imposed on the party. I thought about the speech her father was planning to give at the rehearsal dinner, praising our deep mutual respect. And I thought, why should I be the one embarrassed here? She made her choices. All I had to do was let the truth play out. So I made a copy of the video, uploaded it to a private link, set the privacy to unlisted. Then I took a deep breath and forwarded it to one person. Her father. No caption, no commentary. Just, "I think you should see this before the toast." I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing for sure. There wasn't going to be a wedding. They say the worst pain comes from people you trust. But in that moment, I didn't feel pain, just silence. After sending the video to her father, I sat in the kitchen staring at my coffee. It had gone cold. The world around me felt strangely distant, like I was watching my own life from outside my body. The hum of the fridge, the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. Every sound felt too loud and too far at the same time. That should have been my first red flag, not about Emily, but about myself. I wasn't okay. At 8:12 a.m., I saw the notification. One new voicemail, "Dad, Emily." I didn't listen to it right away. I just stared at the screen. His voice was the last one I expected to hear. We weren't close. Formal handshakes, polite small talk, the occasional dinner. But he respected me, maybe even admired me. He once called me the calm in the storm when Emily fought with her mother. I pressed play. He didn't scream. He didn't curse. His voice sounded hollow. "I don't know what to say. I saw it. I'm sorry. I had no idea. I'll talk to her. But if you need to walk away from this, I won't blame you." That was it. No lecture. No defense. Just a man who'd seen his daughter betray something sacred and didn't try to spin it. I sat back in my chair and exhaled. It was the first breath I'd taken in what felt like hours. But that was just the beginning. At 9:06 a.m., I got another message. This one from Rachel, Emily's maid of honor. WTF? Why would you send that to her dad? Are you trying to ruin her life? It was just a joke, OMG. That word again. Joke. It echoed in my head, bouncing off every memory I had of her. All those times she made fun of other couples, the cheating scandals, the messy breakups. I'd never be that stupid, she once said, after watching a viral wedding video where the groom dumped the bride mid-vows. Guess what, Emily? Neither would I. At 9:24 a.m., Emily finally called. I let it ring. Twice. Then silence. Then a text. Can we talk? Please. I don't want you to misunderstand. Misunderstand? There was nothing left to interpret. The video wasn't blurry. The sound wasn't missing. I didn't need a play-by-play narration. I'd seen her, on her knees, hands on the man's belt, laughing like it was the best night of her life. At 10:30 a.m., Rachel posted an Instagram story with the caption, "Men are so sensitive these days, #growup." I didn't respond to anyone. I just opened a new Google Doc and started writing down names, bridesmaids, family members, guests. Not for revenge. For clarity. If I was going to walk away from this, I wanted to walk clean. No screaming. No broken windows. No ugly Facebook rants. Just the truth. Delivered to the right people. One click at a time. I think what surprised me the most was how quickly they all rallied around her. By noon that same day, I'd already seen 3 different bridesmaids post vague stories. People make mistakes. Real men don't weaponize them. One moment doesn't define who you are. If you've never had fun at a party, just say that. They were circling the wagons, defending her. I hadn't even said anything publicly. I hadn't posted a single word. But it didn't matter. The narrative had already been decided. I was overreacting. I was fragile. I was ruining her life over a party game. A game where she was on her knees, with her hands on another man's belt. But apparently, I lacked context. By 3 p.m., Emily sent me a long message. Not an apology, a monologue. She wrote that it was harmless fun, that she didn't touch anything inappropriate, and that I was hurting both of us by making it into something it wasn't. She signed it with, "If you still want to marry me, I'll be here." Like it was my move now. Like I had something to prove. I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I didn't trust myself to say it yet. What I did do was dig. Because part of me, just part, still wanted to believe this was a misunderstanding. That maybe I'd overreacted. Maybe there was a longer version of the video, some before or after, that made it all more innocent. So I went looking. And what I found wasn't another video. It was a photo, posted by Rachel's cousin, publicly, on Facebook. From the same night. Same party. Same room. Emily was sitting on the stripper's lap. He had his arm around her neck like they were a couple. Her eyes were closed. She looked drunk, but not unconscious. Just uninhibited. The caption? Best Bachelorette party ever #sorry not sorry. I scrolled through the album. Dozens of pictures. Girls twerking, shots being poured down chests. One woman throwing fake handcuffs at another. It wasn't wine night with a charcuterie board. It was a circus. And the ring was still on her finger in every single shot. That should have been the final nail, right? But then I saw the comments. Emily had liked them all, and replied to one that said, "You go, girl," with, "Had to get it out of my system." That phrase hit like a brick. Had to get it out of my system. Like marriage was a cage. Like I was a sentence. And this party? A last gasp of freedom before settling into the prison of commitment. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding in that dull, thudding way where anger hasn't fully formed yet, but the betrayal has. She wasn't sorry. She was proud. I don't know what part of it finally made something snap inside me. The lap photo, the smug comments, the silence from people I used to call friends. But something shifted. I stopped trying to understand and started collecting. I made a folder on my desktop called Clarity. Inside it, I saved screenshots, messages, photos, not to show the world. Not yet. But because I needed to see the full picture for myself, without excuses, without hope, without love blinding me. And the full picture? It was worse than I thought. It wasn't just a wild party. It was organized. There were group chats. One of her friends accidentally posted a cropped screenshot that showed the name of a WhatsApp group. Emily's last ride. That emoji combo was enough. I created a burner number. Messaged Rachel from it, pretending to be one of the other girls from the party. "Hey, can you resend the stripper's name? I want to tag him, but forgot." She replied within minutes. "El mío, yeah, it's Deshawn." Insta is at official strip cop. So I looked him up. And what do you know? There he was. Same guy from the video. Same fake cop outfit. And in one of his recent posts, a carousel of photos from a private bachelorette party last weekend. One of the slides showed him holding a bottle of tequila, pouring it into someone's mouth, off camera. But in the mirror behind him, Emily. Clear as day. No oops. No regrets. Just a bunch of fire emojis in the comments. Rachel had left 3. That's when I stopped collecting for my own clarity and started preparing for everyone else's. Because she didn't just cheat. She didn't just lie. She trusted that no one would ever tell me. She was so confident in her deception, so sure of my love, that she didn't even bother to hide it. That was the part that broke me. I remembered our conversations, the way she made me feel ridiculous for even asking if they were planning something wild. What kind of woman do you think I am? She'd said. Turns out, exactly the kind I feared. I thought the betrayal was bad, but the arrogance, the certainty that I'd never know, that was something else entirely. It was the moment I realized. She wasn't sorry because she never thought I'd find out. And if I hadn't found that video, she would have kissed me at the altar like nothing ever happened. I used to think betrayal was a moment, a flash, one decision that shatters everything. But it's not. It's a structure, a system built quietly, brick by brick, while you're too in love to notice the blueprint. And as I dug deeper, I realized this wasn't Emily's secret. It was everyone's. It started with a message from someone I didn't know. A girl named Tessa. We weren't connected online. I didn't even recognize her face when I saw her profile picture. But she had been tagged in one of the Instagram stories from the party. Her message was short. You don't know me, but I was at Emily's Bachelorette. I think you deserve the truth. She didn't wait for a reply. Just sent a screenshot from a group chat I hadn't seen. This one was from a private Discord server called Wives Before Vows. It was full of messages. Dozens. Planning. Jokes. Polls about stripper outfits. A vote between cop and fireman. But the one that stuck in my throat came from Emily herself. He's too perfect. I need to do something wild before I become boring forever, lol. Boring forever. That's how she saw our life. She didn't say it with hatred. There was no malice in it. Just casual dismissal. Like love was a diet. A wedding was a deadline. And I was a quiet corner of her life that she needed to mess up, just once, before she lost access to chaos. I kept reading. Some of the girls had hesitated. Are you sure he'd be okay with this? Emily replied. He'll never find out. And if he does, I'll cry. He always backs down when I cry. That was the moment my stomach turned. Not because she planned it, but because she rehearsed the excuse. I thought I was the calm one, the rational one, the emotionally mature guy who didn't yell or throw things. But she saw that as weakness, as something to manipulate. She knew exactly which strings to pull, and she expected me to fold. I sat with that for a long time, long enough to remember the little comments she'd made in the past. Like the time she told me her ex-boyfriend once made a scene because she danced with someone at a bar. He was so insecure, she'd said. Now I wondered if he wasn't. By the time I closed the chat screenshots, I'd stopped feeling sad. Now I felt insulted, not just by Emily, but by every person who saw what she did and smiled, who told her it was okay, who toasted to it with tequila shots and hashtags. They all watched her make the decision, and not one of them warned me. Because to them, I wasn't a person. I was a prop in her perfect wedding. I realized I wasn't walking away from a marriage. I was escaping a performance. The only question now was whether I'd exit quietly or take the curtain down with me. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling like it could offer answers. The room was too quiet. Not peaceful, sterile, like a hotel room after checkout. You know something used to be here, but it's already gone. My phone buzzed over and over. Messages from her, from Rachel, from friends who had suddenly decided I was being cruel for embarrassing her. One even said, "You're blowing up her life over a little fun. Don't be that guy." That guy. The man who expects loyalty. The man who draws the line where others blur it for comfort. I didn't respond to anyone. I just made tea, opened my laptop, and started scrolling through the wedding guest list. A spreadsheet Emily and I had put together a month ago, color-coded by table, RSVP status, and dietary preference. The irony wasn't lost on me, that I had a detailed record of everyone who would show up to witness a lie. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it yet. Part of me wanted to disappear, cancel everything, leave town, vanish from her narrative. Let her explain the sudden absence to everyone while pretending she was the victim. I knew she'd be good at that. But the other part of me, the part that had sat through every planning meeting, paid deposits, booked hotels, and listened to her talk about our future while she laughed in private chats with her friends, that part wanted to speak. Not yell, not threaten, just speak. Let the facts stand alone. Let people decide for themselves. I copied the guest list into a new sheet, removed the ones I didn't trust, left the names that mattered, people I'd grown up with, worked with, shared real life with. Then I added one link at the top. A video. Not the original shaky party clip. That felt cheap. I wasn't going for shock. I had spent hours editing something more honest. It opened with a photo of us, smiling on a hike, taken months ago. Then a fade to black. Then screenshots. Her messages. Her friends' comments. The lap photo. And finally, a quiet clip of the moment with the stripper. No music. No filters. Just reality. At the end, a single slide. I thought I was getting married. Turns out, I was just part of the entertainment. I watched it twice. Not to enjoy it. To make sure it wasn't rage speaking for me. It wasn't. It was disappointment. Cold, precise, and earned. Still, I hesitated. Was this revenge? Was I just trying to hurt her? But then I thought about the faces of the people coming to that wedding. Her uncle flying in from out of state. The priest who baptized her. My best friend who paid for a suit he couldn't afford. They weren't just guests. They were witnesses. And they deserved to know what they were walking into. At 5:03 a.m., I closed the laptop. I wasn't going to post the video. Not yet. But I knew exactly when I would. The wedding rehearsal was in 2 days. And for once, I wasn't dreading it. 2 days later, I put on a button-up shirt and walked into the wedding rehearsal like nothing was wrong. Emily stood near the altar in a white dress that wasn't her wedding gown, but close enough to trigger something cold in my chest. She smiled when she saw me. Not the usual soft, familiar smile. This one felt rehearsed. Like she was trying to sell normal. Her father didn't look at her. Not once. She noticed. I could tell. The priest welcomed everyone. A few light jokes. Someone made a toast with sparkling water and plastic cups. People laughed. I didn't. When it was my turn to speak with the coordinator about the timing for vows, I simply nodded. Memorized the pattern. Looked at the seating arrangement. Counted the chairs. 53 guests. Most confirmed. I waited until the group broke for lunch. Then I slipped away to the parking lot, opened my phone, and uploaded the video to an unlisted YouTube link. I checked the privacy settings. Triple-checked the link. Then I pasted it into a scheduled email. One of those free services that let you send something at a future date. Delivery time. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. 1 hour before the ceremony was scheduled to begin. Recipients. Her father. Her mother. My parents. The bridal party. My best man. Every guest I personally invited. Not everyone. Just enough. When I hit schedule, I felt nothing. Not triumph. Not satisfaction. Just a hollow kind of calm. Like the eye of a storm I didn't start, but now had no intention of dodging. That night, Emily texted me, asking if I wanted to stay over. Said it was bad luck to see the bride on the day of the wedding. I told her I'd sleep at my parents'. She said she understood, but she didn't. I could feel it. I woke up the next morning to silence. No calls. No texts. Then 9:02 a.m. hit. My phone exploded. I didn't answer a single call. I just watched the screen light up over and over. Unknown numbers. Her bridesmaids. Rachel. Her mother. And then, finally, her. She didn't call. She messaged. What did you do? No punctuation. Just those 4 words. I didn't reply. At 9:37 a.m., my best friend, James, sent me a photo. The venue. Empty chairs. The floral arch half finished. One of the caterers standing around awkwardly, phone in hand. Then another photo. Emily, standing alone, in full wedding dress. Crying. Mascara bleeding. Her dad in the background, arms crossed. The ceremony was called off at 10:12 a.m. I didn't go. I stayed at my parents' house, sitting on the back porch, sipping coffee while the sky turned overcast. By noon, it was all over. The venue had been paid. The food, wasted. The guests, confused. The silence, deafening. I thought that would be the end of it. But I underestimated what happens when a private humiliation becomes a public collapse. Because when people lose control of the story, they don't go quiet. They get desperate. I thought silence would follow. Shame, maybe. Apologies, or at least distance. But Emily didn't disappear. She retaliated. By Sunday afternoon, I started seeing the posts. Vague at first, then pointed. Her friends flooded their timelines with tearful stories about emotional abuse, controlling behavior, and the public humiliation of a good woman. I wasn't mentioned by name. They didn't need to. Everyone in our circle knew what had happened. And since I had stayed quiet, hadn't posted, hadn't explained, hadn't justified, they filled in the blanks themselves. The story changed. Suddenly, I wasn't the betrayed fiancé. I was the bitter ex. The man who couldn't handle a confident woman having fun with her friends. The guy who planned a smear campaign because his ego couldn't take being embarrassed. It was calculated, deliberate, and at first it worked. I started getting messages. Old acquaintances reaching out just to check in, but laced with passive judgment. Hey man, rough weekend. But maybe next time keep things private? I don't know what she did, but that video was a lot. Some things shouldn't be broadcasted like that. Weddings are emotional. I hadn't posted anything publicly. No names. No rants. Just a scheduled email to people who deserve context. But to the outside world, perception was reality. And Emily had always been good at managing perception. I found myself questioning everything again. Not the facts, those were clear. But the narrative, the optics, the public theater of it all. She was turning the wedding cancellation into a redemption arc. The brave woman who still believed in love after being blindsided by a partner's cruelty. Rachel even posted a photo of them together at brunch 2 days later, captioned, "Real queens fix each other's crowns. We rise." The comment section was nauseating. "You deserve better. Men like that don't know what they lost. Sending you love. You're glowing, babe." It felt surreal. Had I misjudged it all? Was I overreacting again? Then, at 2:42 p.m., I got a call from James. He didn't bother with pleasantries. "She's telling people you hit her." My stomach dropped. "What?" He repeated it. "She told Megan. Said you were emotionally aggressive and once pushed her during a fight." It was a lie. A blatant one. And it changed everything. This wasn't about salvaging dignity anymore. It was about survival. If she was willing to rewrite the past to that degree, I had to assume she was capable of more. I checked my phone. No direct messages from her. Nothing since "What did you do?" But her silence now felt like a strategy. And that was when I knew. It wasn't enough to show people the truth once. I needed to defend it. Publicly. Carefully. I wasn't going to stoop to her level, but I also wasn't going to disappear while someone else rewrote my life. She had the social stage, but I had the receipts. And the spotlight was about to shift. I didn't leave the apartment for 3 days. Not because I was hiding, because I didn't trust what would happen if I did. Every time I refreshed my phone, there was something new. A cryptic post. A vague story. A comment thread spiraling into rumors. By now, Emily wasn't just the heartbroken bride. She was a survivor. A woman punished for being playful. A victim of digital abuse and revenge tactics. She didn't name me, but she didn't need to. Her followers doubled in a week. Every photo she posted had waves of comments. Women supporting her, strangers calling me a dangerous man in disguise. People I hadn't spoken to in years acting like they knew what happened. Meanwhile, my inbox turned poisonous. "You're disgusting. I hope you get sued. She deserves better than a creep like you." My parents started getting calls. My mother asked me if everything was okay, her voice shaking. She didn't even want to ask what the video was. My father didn't say much, but I could hear the tension in his silence. James offered to post something, defend me. I told him not to. I didn't want him dragged into it. But the worst part wasn't the hate. It was the doubt. Not in the truth, but in myself. I started questioning whether I should have just walked away quietly. Whether exposing her had made me the villain. Whether the cost of being right was too high. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. Tired. Pale. Hollow under the eyes. I wasn't angry anymore. I was exhausted. And for the first time, I considered giving up. Deleting the video. Issuing a vague apology. Letting her spin her version so I could move on with my life. But then I remembered something. The moment that had started it all. Her hands on that man's belt. Her eyes closed. Her smile. Not a mistake. A choice. And not just hers. Rachel. The others. The silence that followed. The lies. The performance. The calculated shift from guilt to blame. They had rehearsed for this. They knew how to twist a narrative before I even knew I was in one. But they hadn't counted on one thing. That I kept everything. I had the raw files. The messages. The time-stamped screenshots. The chat logs. The forwarded audio from the Discord server. The photo with the ring on her finger while she sat in a stranger's lap. The reply that said, "Had to get it out of my system." This wasn't revenge. It was documentation. Proof. I didn't need to shout. I just needed the right moment to speak. And that moment was close. Because what Emily didn't know, what none of them knew, was that someone else had reached out. Someone who wasn't on her side anymore. Someone who had been at that party. And who had finally decided they were done being silent. She started this story, but I was going to finish it with someone who knew exactly how it ended. Her name was Lily, one of the quieter girls from the Bachelorette party. I remembered her vaguely. Thin, glasses, polite. We'd barely spoken in 4 years. She had always seemed like someone who floated on the edges of Emily's circle, not fully part of it, but too polite to leave. Her message came late at night. "Hey, I feel sick about what's happening." I never agreed with it. I didn't know they were going to lie about you. I still have the chat logs. The ones where they planned everything. I didn't answer right away. She followed up. "They kicked me from the group when I said it went too far." I didn't record anything from the party, but I saw what she did. And I remember what she said after. I finally called her. No video, just voice. She sounded nervous, but determined. She told me everything. The planning. The jokes about getting one last ride. The moment after the stripper left, when Emily said, "God, I hope he doesn't find out. But if he does, I'll just cry and make him feel guilty." And then Lily said something that made the whole room spin. "They practiced your reaction. They rehearsed what she should say if you confronted her." Rachel wrote it out like a script. That was it. The final piece. Not just betrayal. Not just arrogance. But rehearsal. They expected me to find out. They just didn't expect me to have the spine to do anything about it. So I did. The next morning, I posted a single statement. No drama. No accusations. No hashtags. Just this. I was silent because I didn't want a war. I just wanted peace. But since lies are being told in my name, I'll let the truth speak for itself. Every message, every screenshot, every detail, unedited, time-stamped, and backed up. I won't explain or defend anything. I'll just let people decide who they believe. Below it, a Dropbox link. Inside, the video, the full group chats, the Discord logs, Lily's affidavit, signed and dated. I didn't post it on a Rage account. I posted it on my real profile. Name and face attached. And then I turned off my phone. For 24 hours. When I turned it back on, everything had changed. The link had over 60,000 views. Her posts were either locked, deleted, or flooded with comments demanding answers. Rachel had gone private. The brunch photo was gone. And Emily? She posted a single story, a black screen with the words, "I never wanted this to be public." But she had made it public. When she turned our engagement into a performance. When she spun the story before I even spoke. When she told people I was dangerous for refusing to marry someone who betrayed me and laughed about it. I didn't reply to her message. Not to the last one. Not to any of them. The final confrontation wasn't face-to-face. There was no shouting match, no big speech. The truth didn't need a microphone. It needed daylight. Cliffhanger resolved. The wedding was off. The image was shattered. The audience had seen behind the curtain. And I was done explaining. 3 weeks after the day that should have been our wedding, I got the final email confirmation. The venue had processed the cancellation. A small part of the deposit was refundable. The rest was a loss. But honestly, it felt like closure. I boxed up the photos the next day. Not out of anger. I just didn't want to see us smiling anymore. It felt artificial now. Like I was looking at 2 actors in a scene neither of them believed in. The ring went back to the jeweler. I didn't ask for anything fancy in return. Just store credit. I figured one day I might want to buy something real. For someone who deserved it. Emily never publicly apologized. Not once. Not for the video. Not for the lie. Not for what she tried to do afterward. She didn't deny it either. She just shifted. Disappeared for a bit. Then resurfaced with a post about healing, lessons, and moving forward. Her followers dropped, but not by much. There's always an audience for curated pain. Rachel left town. Deleted most of her social accounts. I heard from a mutual acquaintance that she moved in with her sister out of state. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was just damage control. I didn't care enough to find out. Lily and I spoke once more. She didn't want attention, didn't want credit. Just peace. I thanked her, and she said something I'll never forget. "You're not the first guy they've done this to. You're just the first one who told the truth before they could bury it." James and I got drinks a week later. He asked me if I'd ever consider dating again. I said maybe someday. Right now, I'm learning to enjoy the sound of my own silence. For the first time in years, I feel like I can breathe. No performance. No pretending. No wedding countdown looming like a deadline I didn't agree to. Just space. Clean, honest space. People still ask me what the worst part was. The video? The betrayal? The social fallout? It wasn't any of those. It was realizing how long I'd been defending someone who wouldn't have done the same for me. Someone who could smile in my face, sleep in my arms, plan a life, while planning her escape at the same time. But I don't regret exposing it. Not for a second. Some people say closure comes from forgiveness. I think that's only true if the other person wants forgiveness. In my case, closure came from exposure. From refusing to be rewritten. From not letting a lie become the last chapter. I don't know what Emily tells people now. Maybe that I was bitter. Maybe that I ruined everything. But I know what I tell people. The ones who matter, the ones who ask. I walked away from a wedding, but I kept my integrity. And to me, that's the only vow that ever counted. If you made it to the end, thank you. Stories like this aren't easy to tell, not because they're dramatic, but because they make you rethink what trust really means. It's easy to say, just walk away, or you dodged a bullet. And sure, maybe I did. But when you're in it, when you've built a future in your head, walking away feels like pulling your own foundation out from under you. I didn't share this to get sympathy or applause. I shared it because too many people stay silent when they're lied to, when their story is twisted before they even have a chance to speak. And if you've ever been in a situation where the truth felt like the most dangerous thing you could say, I hope this gave you a bit of strength. If stories like this resonate with you, stories about betrayal, survival, and quiet revenge, you might want to stick around. I post new confessions like this regularly, always raw, always real. Subscribe if you'd like to hear more. Because sometimes the people who've been the quietest have the most important stories to tell.